Hello everybody and welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. Today we have Frontier Airlines 3044 with service to Orlando from Chicago. Our airtime is going to be 2 hours and 14 minutes with a total block time of 2 hours and 42 minutes. Our cruising altitude for today is going to be 39,000 feet. We are almost a full flight here with 164 passengers. We have a tailwind of 22 here on the wind component, so we may be moving a little fast here in the cruise. But other than that, I do have us set up and ready to go here. We are here parked at gate M14 in Terminal 5. Which is where Frontier parks at O'Hare. So let's hop in a cockpit and finish setting up for our flight. Alright, so we are here in the cockpit, and you know me, the only thing I need to do is get our V-speeds inserted, and we are going to put our SID altitude of 5,000 feet. And I already had these numbers calculated beforehand. Our V2 speed of 139. Going to plug that into the autopilot system there. We're going to be taking off from runway 22 left today, and it has a heading of 225, and we're going to put that into heading. Alright, we got one runway heading set, and let's insert these V-speeds. So we got flaps 1 on departure, 62 on the flex, and 138, 138, 139 for the V-speeds. And 139 there. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet. Thrust reduction 2,160 feet. And that is our perf, and I believe at this point our CDU is completed. We have our flight plan in there all the way down to Orlando, and I got rid of any discons in here. We have a steep path detected by the CDU, but that's okay. We're more than likely going to be having to use speed brakes on the way down. And that'd be good there. At this point we can start the APU, and the flight attendants should be almost done here. Let's see what they're up to. So they're basically done, and they should be during their briefings or whatnot. I'm going to get this door closed, and we're going to get the APU started. Alright, we got good APU there. Let's get the bleed started. And at this point, all fuel pumps can come on. I think we are ready to go here. We're just going to give a call to the flight attendants and see what's up with them.
And then welcome on board our flight. Expedite boarding. Please step out of the aisle once you have found your assigned seat. Your boarding pass shows your designated seat. A, B, and C are on your right. D, E, and F are on your left. All carry-on articles you brought up with the aircraft must be stowed in an overhead bin near your seat.
Alright, so we are ready to go. At this point we can configure our lights. So we're going to go strobe on, beacon can now come on, nav on, and we're going to turn our taxi on once we are fully pushed out. But at this point I am going to start planning our pushback, and we'll get our engine started once we are completely pushed back. So I'll see you guys after pushback. Alright, so we have been completely pushed back and the tug has been disconnected. We are now basically configured for engine start. I have all the fuel pumps on. APU bleed is now running. So we just have to go engine mode selector to norm, and then we'll be able to get these engines started. So enjoy the start sequence, guys. Alright, so we got 2 good engine starts there. We are now going to perform our flight control test. So we got full left, neutral, full right, neutral, forward, neutral, back, neutral, left rudder, right rudder. Flight controls are free and normal. Alright, so before taxi checklist, probe window heat set auto, heading indicators are set, standby instruments are set, radios and avionics are set. Autopilot is, we'll do that later. We are going to go takeoff config. We are going to go max on the auto brakes. We are going to arm the spoilers, notify the cabin, and we're going to go nose to taxi. And we have a takeoff config normal. Elevator trim set and flight controls are free and correct. So we are now complete with the before taxi checklist. Taxi checklist, all taxi lights are on. Parking brake as required for right now. We have our runway to left. Takeoff config is normal and takeoff memo is green. So taxi checklist complete, and we are going to taxi all the way to left. And there we go. We're going to set the parking brake. We're going to get all of our associated lights on here. We're going to go take off, landing lights on, runway turn off lights on, wing light on. We're going to ding the back, let them know we're going to take off here. I am going to activate flight recorder and we'll be ready to go, guys. Alright, so we are now good to go for takeoff here. 5,000 feet initial altitude is set, runway heading and all that stuff is set, flight director's on, V1 138, V rotate 138, V2 139. We're going to reset the flight plan page, and we are going to release the parking brake. And we're going to spool them up to, let's fix my position here. We're going to spool the engines up to 40. And flex. Flex blue. We're going to be coming up on V1. And rotate. Good climb, gear up. I'm not sure what that was. Looks like we're going to have to make our left-hand turn here pretty soon. We're going to go autopilot on. And I'm going to let the plane do the work. We're going to go climb thrust. And as we are coming up on our S speeds here, we're going to start bringing in the spoilers. And we can go flaps up. And we're just going to continue climbing up to 5,000 out of O'Hare. I think I'm going to have to disconnect autopilot here. And we're going to make this left-hand turn like I initially thought I was going to be doing. And try to just maintain this profile of 5,000 feet here. Because the autopilot seems to be lost. I'm going to get rid of that master warning. I'm not sure why the autopilot decided to do that. It has the information that it needs, but we're just going to have to do it ourselves. And that's no problem. We're getting a little bit too high there on that nose. Yeah, we're just going to follow ourselves to that line there. And we should be able to disconnect the autopilot or engage the autopilot again. We're just going to do a little bit of manual flying. And I would say now we are good to go for autopilot. While we are here, we are going to increase our altitude to 14,000 feet. There we go. we are going to be approaching 10,000 feet here pretty soon. So we are going to get all of our lights off and ding the back and let them know.
Available. If at any given point you wish to sleep undisturbed, we do ask that you kindly display all fastened seatbelts on the outside of all garments or blankets, so as your crew does do frequent safety checks. And failure to see your seatbelt will result in having to awaken you for compliance. We thank you in advance for your cooperation.
Alright, we are coming up on 14,000 here. We are going to increase to 3,000. And we're just going to continue climbing. We're going to be approaching 18,000 here. So we'll switch our pressure over to standard momentarily. Alright guys, so we are going to be coming up on 31,000 feet here. We're going to be coming up on 350 pretty soon. So we're just going to increase it all the way up to 35. And we're just going to keep on climbing. And we are getting ready to make a left-hand turn onto our next waypoint. Alright, as we are coming up on our next waypoint here, and we are slowly approaching 350, I'm going to increase us to our final cruising altitude of flight level 390. Alright everybody, we have finally leveled off at flight level 390. We're going to be cruising it here all the way down to Florida for the next couple hours. We are looking pretty good though, so I'll see you guys at the other end. Alright guys, we are still here at flight level 390. I am going to use this time to brief our approach and of course get our ILS information entered into the CDU. So I have the approach plate here for 35 right into Orlando. And it looks like cruise is going to be our first point there. So I'm going to go flight plan and go down. And I kind of just like to compare the chart to what I have planned. And there's cruise. And we are getting a steep path again, but that's fine. We'll be able to handle that, no problem. So we need to insert some of this information. We need our decision height there, or decision altitude for the ILS. We have the approach course of 5 degrees and the localizer frequency. So let's get this stuff inserted. Before we do that, I'm going to find my pin here. And there it is. We're going to take note of some of this weather here for Orlando. Right now, the QNH is going to be 30.8. Winds are 30 at 8. Outside temperature of 23. Now, this is subject to change, but if it does change, we can just update the CDU, no problem. So we're going to go to perf. Next phase, QNH 30.08. Outside air temperature of 23. Winds 30 at 8. Our decision height or decision altitude is going to be 290. So we're going to insert 290 into borrow. And that's good for that page there. We are going to be landing full. We got a visual. We have an approach speed of 132. So let's go radio navigation. And we need to insert 111.15 for the approach course, or the approach frequency, and it has a course of 5 degrees. And that is pretty much it, guys. So we are now good on the ILS information.
Rama!
Alright guys, we are here at 39,000 feet. We are slowly approaching our top of the descent there, and I need 107 nautical miles to get all the way down to 5,000 at roughly a 3-degree glide path. So we're going to be starting our descent here probably right about now. So I am going to get the seatbelt signs on. And we're going to give an all call. And let's see. That first waypoint is going to be 17. So I'm going to select 20,000. And we're going to start descending soon. Alright, and at this point I am going to start our descent for 20,000.
Well, folks, from the flight deck, that seatbelt sign is on. It's going to remain on for the duration of the flight. Once again, not much of a change in the weather. There is a thunderstorm to the south of the airport at this time. Temperature still roughly degrees. Winds are now out of the north at about 10 miles per hour. Good visibility and scale of clouds. Thanks for coming along. Please make sure your seatbelt's tightly fastened about you.
Alright guys, so I have 11,000 pre-selected here. We are going to now start descending 11,000. If we get too fast there, I can deploy speed brakes because the system is still detecting a steep path there. But speed brakes should be okay, and we're going to be just fine. And then as we're passing through flight level 180, we're going to go to the local pressure of 30.08. Where we're going to start further descending. Alright guys, so I now cleared us down to 11,000 feet. As we're passing through flight level 180, we are going to get the local altimeter set, which is 30.08. There we go, and we're going to get it set on a standby. Well, now it changed, maybe 30.10. My system is showing 30.8, so I must put it there. Or just do what the simulator thinks. That's fine too. Winds are still the same there at Orlando, and the temperature is still the same. Alright guys, so I'm now going to clear us down for 9,000. And as we are passing through 10,000 feet there, we're going to get all of our lights on upstairs. But we are descending 9,000. Alright, we're coming up on 10,000. We're gonna get our lights on. Nose light is gonna go to taxi once we get established on 35 right. And we do have the restrictions coming in. no more than 16,000 but greater than 11,000. So we're gonna have to climb back up here. Alright, so we're gonna go back up to 11,500 for the altitude restriction there. Alright, so we are now cleared to go back down to 9,000. So we're going to start descending again to 9,000 feet, and we're just going to continue following our speed restrictions here. Guys, we're gonna climb down 8,000 now. I can't really see here, so I'm using the PFD there to confirm my altitude selection, but we are going down to 8,000 feet. As we're going down to 8,000 feet, they want us at 222, so I am going to start introducing some speed brakes here. Alright, as we are coming up on 8,000 here, pretty soon we're going to have to go down to 5,000. So we got 5,000 pre-selected, and we're going to engage it here pretty soon. And we need to be 5,000 by Bryce and 210 knots. Let's get the speed brake away. What is it doing? There we go. We need to be slowing down here. The auto throttle should be bringing it down. Let's get that speed brake out again. Alright, so I kind of have to switch it over there to selected mode, and just so we can get down to where we need to be. We need to be 220 knots, so we're just going to hold it down to 220. Because it seemed like we are moving too fast there, and we are going to climb down to 5,000. Alright, so the field should be off to our right there, and cruise is going to be our 5,000 point. So I am going to turn on LS and localizer just so I can see how we are. Our next speed restriction is going to be 210. So we're going to plug 210 in there, and we'll be good. Now I'm going to have a quick look at my approach here. We are going to go flaps 1 as well. And I am going to go back to manage speed mode. But we're gonna keep that flap out, just create some drag for us. There we go. Zoom up that map just a little bit. Well, I believe we are looking good. Let me take a look at the flight plan. And the auto throttle is going to start as decel here pretty soon. But we are going to keep that flap one out. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, I have to put away that flap there. We were getting ready for some dangerous stuff there. Alright, I'm gonna have to do something here. Because that's gonna be too tight of a turn, so let's go selected heading, and we're gonna keep it back. We're gonna go out a little bit, and then we're gonna turn back in. Because that is too steep. That's way too steep. So we're just gonna have to vector ourselves. Yeah, we're just gonna bypass that point there for cruise, and then we're gonna turn it around. We got the glide slope coming in there, but that's fine. We're going to be turning around here shortly. I think it may be best for me to plug in runway heading, and that was 05. So we're going to plug that in here shortly. Once I think we're good. Alright, so we're now still at 5,000. We have the localizer, the glide slope coming in there, and I'm going to get us leveled off on a flight plan there. And we should just let it go managed. I think that'd be good. And let's just see what happens. We have the approach there. It's not letting me. We got localizer there and arm on the approach. And I'm just curious as to what the autopilot is going to do. This is kind of scary. It should be making a turn here. Or am I going to have to do it myself? What's happening? I hope I'm not fucking it up here. But we got the runways there, and we may going to be a little bit too high here. We're going to go down to 3,000. Alright, we got localizer captured. We're gonna be coming down there. Let's get flaps out. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to go missed approached here. Because we are way too high on our approach. Absolutely too high. Yeah, because I'm not gonna dive. I'm not gonna dive it. I totally screwed up my approach there. I really don't know how. Yep, so we're just gonna follow missed approach procedures here. Alright guys, so we're gonna be coming in here for a another attempt at landing. I brought us all the way back around. I am manually flying the plane right now. As soon as I get back on this this pathway here, we should be good to go. We're probably going to be intercepting the ILS at 3,000. So I'm trying to keep us at 3,000, and we can go flaps full, or flaps 3 and flaps full. So yeah, we're gonna ignore these speed restrictions right here, and then we'll be able to engage autopilot here soon. All right, we should be good to go on the autopilot, and let's just see what it does here.
2,500.
Getting a little some stutters there, but as the glide slope comes in, I'm gonna arm the approach, and it should follow what I previously set in there. So let's see. We're a little slower, and we're good. So we're gonna get that up to 3,000. And I'm just waiting to get that glide slope. And then once I have it, I have the localizer. I'm just waiting on that glide slope to come in. There's a glide slope, and there's approach. So now we are established on the localizer and the glide slope. And we are gonna go managed. The autopilot should be bringing me down here pretty soon. Maybe it's just waiting for me to hit that point. I'm not sure, but the approach mode is active, and it has all the information that it needs. We are in managed altitude. We're flaps full. I can say we can go gear down. Why doesn't it not want to bring me down? What, like, there we go. It has the glide slope now. So now it's going to start doing its thing. Alright, guys. Oh my god. See, I'm not like any other person. I feel like any other person probably would have dived it in there. I'm not going to do that. We're going to go around. But we look good there. We got 2 right, 2 red, so we're on it. Autopilot's still doing a good job. We're 1,810 feet now above the runway. But we're looking good here. And we are going to let the cabin know that we are pretty much getting on the ground, and everything looks good there. All right, guys. I'm going to get my I got my hands on the thrust lever there, and I am ready to disconnect the autopilot right about now.
Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20, $10, $5.
Ooh, we slammed it in there, guys. Holy shit. But we're gonna go reversers. And storm. We're gonna manual braking. And we are down here in Orlando after a missed approach. Dang. Alright guys, so we can go ahead and start getting the plane cleaned up. Alright guys, we are parked up here at our gate. Strobe can come off. Nav can come off. Beacon can come off. We're going to request that jet bridge get connected to us. And at this point we can start our shutdown. Before we start that shutdown, we are going to request a ground power unit. And we're just going to wait on the ground power unit for a few minutes, and then we'll get our engine shut down. But we can shut down 1 or 2. And we can do number 1 as well. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today's flight. we had a missed approach there. I wasn't really planning on doing a missed approach. I definitely underestimated the two steep path there indicator. I'm not really quite sure what I did wrong there. Feel free to tell me in the comments. I'm willing to learn. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one, and take care.